Ezra became enraged upon hearing people sing Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's song Shallow. So they grabbed...
What?
Yeah, they grabbed the mic from the women singing the song and started yelling obscenities at all the patrons.
That is so fucked up. It's fucked up. So fucked up. It is just so damn fucked up. That's fucked up.
There was somebody named Whitney Sutters. She was running a marijuana farm on the farm with Ezra, and it was named the Rebel Alliance Cannabis Company. And at some points, she had also showed a video that showed plants in cultivation that were excess of what was legal for the state of Vermont. There is also we'll get to this, a non-binary child that Miller has been accused of grooming. This bitch Whitney was basically helping Miller to discredit the mother of this child by basically publicly revealing her name and saying things about her.
What the fuck? Doxing her?
Basically, yeah.
Doxing is really fucking dangerous, especially when people who have dedicated, dare I say, a cult-like following, when that person says, hey, I don't like so-and-so, and then either they or someone connected to them says, and here's their fucking address. That's really bad.
Let's talk about 2020 and how they sort of start to publicly go a little off the rails. In Reykjavik, Iceland. Did I say that right? Reykjavik?
Sure.
Reykjavik?
Oh, I think that's actually right. I want to say that's right.
Reykjavik, Iceland. It's not a word I say a lot, friends, and
I think you nailed it the second time.
Nailed it. I can't say words with my stuffed up nose. Anyway, so as sexy as it is. So Ezra was filming the second Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them film, and it was halted due to the pandemic in 2020. Miller went to stay in Iceland in Airbnb that they had rented with several other people and spent 2 months there. While they were there, they would stroll the streets barefoot, and residents started to complain of their smell. Anonymous women started to complain that their residence was a cult-like or commune-like environment. There were several mattresses strewn about on the floor. It was alleged that anyone who was in the residence with Miller was not allowed to disagree with them. There were teenagers allegedly staying there with Miller and having sex with them.
Yeah, no, fuck this person.
Yeah. Miller would get angry if anyone tried to leave without permission, basically, or even use the telephone. The people who they were staying with claimed to be able to read minds and claimed to be able to read. Good for them. That was a bad place to put my little weird voice inflection.
I was like, wait, what?
They could read minds and have supernatural powers.
Just like the Flash?
Weird. Maybe not super speed.
It's all super stuff. Super stuff.
Super stuff. One woman felt so trapped and intimidated that she texted somebody kind of like in secret to come pick her up because she had gone over there, I guess, just to like visit or had met them while in Iceland and later expressed to a friend, that was the weirdest day I've ever experienced in my life being in that house. Come get me. I need to leave.
I think also Ezra is somebody I chose to talk about because the more I go down the rabbit holes of just like internet and social media and influencer culture and all this shit, it seems so common, weirdly fucking common, that somebody who has a lot of influence in media or social media, whatever, are able to just like get a bunch of people to come live with them and then just do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
I'm talking about stupid little like YouTube influence fucks like Logan Paul. That motherfucker's running a cult.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's like it's not the worst ever. Neither is Ezra's, but like these fuckers are running cults, dude.
Ezra, interestingly, and I wonder if this is kind of part of that confidence level, Ezra had somebody accompany them to Iceland by the name of Jasper Youngbear, who was a spiritual advisor to them, saying things to them like, you're the next Messiah, you're not in a movement, you are the movement.
Oh no. Don't tell people that. You guys don't ever tell a person that.
Yeah, exactly. They've got somebody in their head or next to them constantly saying like, oh, you're the best.
Essentially, you're God.
Right. Jasper would lead all group members, and I guess group meaning people that had sort of ended up flocking in. I couldn't find a number of people that ended up being there, but people coming in and out who were part of this mini movement they had for a while. But Jasper would lead them at the Airbnb in group meditations. I don't know about the Airbnbs you've stayed in, but mine always have this: no more people are allowed to visit except who you put on the list. If I see another car, I'm going to firebomb the porch. You'll be charged $1,000. The rules are bananas.
No,
like,
totally.
How are you running a fucking cult, Jim Jones style people collection and your Airbnb?
Because that's what you get to do when you're from Hollywood. When you're famous and you're Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein or Ezra Miller, you can just do whatever you want and nobody gives a shit. Or they do, but then the powers that be who are with, more money essentially are like, shut it down, everybody. And then they just keep going.
Yeah. And then when you ask your Airbnb host, like, why are you charging me $300 to clean when my room stay was only $400? And they say some tenants have ruined it for everyone. Ezra Miller needs a shirt that says, it's me. I'm some tenants. I ruined it for everyone.
To any Airbnb hosts that say that, listen. We're not second graders, okay? We're all adults here. You decided to run a business. I'm sorry that John fucked your house up. That's not my problem, though. I'm not paying you because John ruined it. Like, fuck you.
I would like to see a chart. Cleaning fees before Ezra Miller stayed at Airbnb. Cleaning fees after Ezra Miller stayed at Airbnb.
It's like there was chickens. We got goat fees.
Now they're like, you accidentally left a sock on the counter. We'll keep that deposit. Thank you. Jasper would lead all these group members at the Airbnb in group meditations and claimed to people that he cut off one of his own fingers during a ritual ceremony that they were holding there. I don't know why.
Because it's a cult.
Jasper also told Ezra that their one-time fiance was a parasite and they should dump them. Of course, Ezra listens to Jasper and dumps their fiance at the time.
I feel like Jasper probably did the fiance a solid in that situation, so I'm not going to be mad at Jasper for that one. Jasper got said fiance away from a dangerous person, I think.
Right. In April 6th of 2020, a video of Ezra choking a woman and throwing her to the ground at a bar in Iceland surfaced. It was allegedly not the first, but the second incident like this that had occurred. The first incident was never filmed. The first incident was apparently a drunken altercation where Miller put a man in a chokehold and slapped him. The second incident was apparently prompted by a woman at a bar who joked with Miller about fighting them.
The woman joked about it, and
yeah,
Ezra was like, oh, we'll see what fighting is, bitch, and then beat her up.
Yeah, basically. So Miller was also overheard on the phone after the incident saying, I was the victim in this incident. The reactions to the video, unfortunately, are a bunch of people siding with them and saying, oh, it just looks like y'all were play acting. Play fighting, like fake play fighting.
Playing.
So apparently he calls someone at Warner Brothers after the incident and says, I'm the one who was hated on here. He's this total partier. He's telling Warner Brothers, somebody hated on me. They tried to say I was bullied, even though they were known for being obviously like a wild partier, cult leader, drinking, smoking, and then tried later to be like a bunch of teenagers so that they could do martial arts and came at me. So I went after the person's collarbone and accidentally choked them. Weird.
You know how it is when fucking teenagers come at you trying to prove they know martial arts, Fallon? You can't let that slide. Not up in here. When teenagers come at me with martial arts skills, I just pull mine out back. Say, let's karate fight right here.
I didn't have words to respond to that. I was completely silenced, which is
Listen, I actually brought my black belt. Let me go to my car and throw it on really quick because I'll show you. That's usually how I handle that kind of thing.
What's funny is my husband has a whole board of all of his karate belts he got as a teenager, and he got through black belt. His mom had all their home videos turned into DVDs, and so I got to see him in his black belt test, and my husband had long hair, so he definitely looked like somebody out of an 80s karate movie doing doing his
So
belt.
do you guys keep his belt next to your Thomas Kincaid puzzles on the wall?
You know what? I just don't need this kind of bullshit. I deserve better.
Oh my God. I just imagined you guys have a little corner.
No, his is actually a pretty significant accomplishment. I mean, that took 10 plus years of lessons and stuff as a kid to achieve. So his mom as a gift had all of the belts made into a cool display, and he has
that's
it upstairs.
nice. I'm just a dick. We know that.
We do. This is why you love me, because I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
It's true. I want to talk about one of the notable cases of Ezra grooming somebody. Their name is Dakota Iron Eyes, and they are referred to in research as a female teenager. They also refer to themselves by they, them pronouns. They're a non-binary teenager who now goes by the name Gibson. Their parents claiming that Ezra sort of decided this for them, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're non-binary and this is your pronouns, and this is your name or something. So I'd be interested to hear from that person themselves. But Gibson met Ezra when they were 12. And
what the fuck, bro?
Right. Ezra's 23. Parents' names are Sarah Jumping Eagle and Chase Iron Eyes. Chase Iron Eyes is a Native American businessman. They filed a suit when their child was 18, but they both reported this behavior has been happening for 6 years.
Whoa.
Immediately, Ezra began to lure Gibson away from their family and grooming them. Their parents say that Ezra was definitely brainwashing them and probably abusing the teenager.
Yeah, if this person is 12, 13, 14, any of those ages, 16, 17, yeah.
Ezra encouraged Gibson to drop out of school so they could follow them to various filming locations. Gibson would fly to London while Ezra was on the set filming Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald with another group of Native Americans. At this point, Ezra tried to sleep in the same bed with Gibson, but was stopped by her chaperone.
So she had a chaperone? Or
So
Gibson had a chaperone?
Gibson had a chaperone, was there, I guess, with another group of Native Americans she knew, including a chaperone. And Ezra tried to sleep in the same bed as them, and the chaperone put a stop to it. But Ezra was also taking Gibson out to bars when they were very underage.
I think when you have minors travel from one location to another in order to be with you, I think that's called trafficking.
Right.
Am I crazy? Or is that trafficking?
And that was one of the things that came up when we covered the Michael Jackson case, was encouraging parents to let the kid come to a video shoot or a vacation or whatever with the person to isolate them.
I'm confused as to why this other group of Native Americans also just happened to be in England at that time.
It might have been that Ezra encouraged Gibson to come, and so it was more like, hey, come over and see me film this video and bring your friends. And so Gibson travels with a bunch of friends as a cool thing. And then while there, Ezra continues grooming, take out to bars, get them drunk, try to sleep with them.
All that good stuff.
So Gibson's friends have stated that they have to ask Ezra's permission to take Gibson out to dinner because Ezra wasn't allowing Gibson to eat.
This is I'm not playing cult bingo, but I would be just winning.
Oh, yeah. This one case alone, you would be winning.
Yeah.
This one instance. So Sarah and Chase, Gibson's parents, filed a protection order against Ezra in a tribal court in North Dakota on behalf of Gibson, where they accused Miller of brainwashing and emotionally abusing the teenager. They claimed that Ezra took control of Gibson's belongings, including ID, which you know is a huge cult red flag, right? I got your ID. The same thing they did to everyone that showed up at Jonestown. Immediately took IDs.
Now you can't go anywhere. Whoa.
Yep. They also claimed that there were several bruises all over their child's body. And it was alleged that at one point Ezra had held Gibson down because Gibson was not answering Ezra's questions that they were asking them.
And Ezra started spending time with this child when they were 12. And
12.
Ezra was 23.
Yes. So
no.
Gibson denies allegations and says my parents are manipulators and the family is transphobic, but it's been claimed by Gibson's family that Ezra actually controls all social media, and they have released statements to that fact as well.
How wild would that be? Imagine wanting one of your kids getting taken under the wing of an insanely powerful person and then just getting like swept away from you, and there's not anything you can really do because this person is fucking untouchable, essentially.
Right. At one time, Gibson's mother has come out and said that she believes that one thing that Ezra does, especially in the fights they've had about her own child, is weaponizes their gender identity. She says every time she's tried to go after Ezra or tries to do something legal, they get a backlash of, this is because you're hateful, this is because you're transphobic, this is because you don't support LGBT. And they're like, that's not why. It's because you're abusing our daughter.
Right.
Or our child, rather.
Exactly. Which is kind of the point we made in the beginning, is that like it's not about anything like that at all. It's about what people are doing.
Yeah, there's one time where Ezra's getting arrested outside of a bar for some sort of misbehavior, and the police just said, please come out of the bar. And they don't know the person is identifying as non-binary. The police just knew that the person was attempting to hurt other people. So they refer to Ezra as him. So then Ezra shouts, you misgendered me, and starts screaming about how the cops are misgendering him and treating him badly. And that's why they're reacting that way. And the police are like, okay, if we knew that, we would have been fine with all that. You just started acting like this. You just started being like super dangerous and unruly. We had to get you out of there.
Which kind of seems to be their MO literally everywhere they go.
Yes.
They start violent physical altercations with strangers every fucking place they go.
Yeah. So Ezra takes Gibson to Hawaii in March of 2022, and they were just drifting around Hawaii together. They were not living anywhere but in tents. And while they were there, they met another polyamorous couple that had invited them to stay, as the couple to stay with them. But immediately, weird things started occurring. Ezra built a sweat lodge in the couple's backyard, and Ezra bought the man in the other couple, who was technically the head of the family, a diamond encrusted ring, and proposed to them, let's merge families. Let's merge to be a polyamorous family. And they left 2 weeks after their arrival. This is where Ezra took the mom and the 3 kids from that later got kicked out of his house.
Okay, so Ezra finds the mom and the 3 kids while they're bopping around Hawaii with Gibson and is like, come on back to my compound.
Right. I'm taking you out of this abusive situation that I wanted to move into, where I built my sweat lodge.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That was the dad of the kids was poly too?
Yes.
Ezra is like, hey, do you want to all get married and be polyamorous together? And they're like, no. And then Ezra's like, all right, well, then I'm going to take the wife and kid.
Right. 3 kids. Yes.
Could have been, I guess, technically might have been a bad situation, right? But they are certainly not the person to be taking anyone out of a bad situation. They don't have a better situation to offer.
Yeah, exactly. The story jumps around a little bit, and it's funny because I think I said in the beginning, reading an article, it says their own family and friends cannot keep up with how to unwind this crazy story because it's just everywhere. Ezra had numerous arrests for disorderly conduct and harassment. For example, one of the things that they would do would be to film people at gas stations and loiter around. They got into a physical altercation with people at a karaoke bar once. Ezra became enraged upon hearing people sing Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's song Shallow. So they grabbed...
What?
Yeah, they grabbed the mic from the women singing the song and started yelling obscenities at all the patrons.
That's a
into the
great
microphone.
song, by the way.
It's a great song. And even if you screw it up, as long as you screw it up with your whole heart, it's okay. It's karaoke. It's supposed to be terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Ezra the karaoke police or what?
Right. Get out of here, karaoke police. So then apparently Ezra was staying with a couple around the same time as the karaoke incident in Hawaii. I'm not really sure what year this was. Sorry. But the same evening of the karaoke incident,
I think it's 2022.
Yeah, but it's all happening like very fast in 2022.
They're just running around in 2022, just attacking and wiling out.
This is the one a lot of people heard about. They being Ezra was staying with a couple in Hawaii, a different couple than we just talked about, the evening of the karaoke incident. The couple bailed Ezra out, and then Ezra barged into their room on the same night, threatening them and saying, "I will bury your slut wife."
Jesus, you're welcome for fucking bailing you out of jail, you dick.
The couple later dropped the charge they had. They put in a protection order request or charge against Ezra and eventually dropped it. That's another pattern I've noticed, is that Gibson's parents eventually kind of withdrew the requests for all the protection orders because they realized that these orders they were putting in kept getting either canceled or overturned or not going very far, and they just saw it as an uphill battle.
I wonder if that's because Ezra Miller is super rich and famous and powerful, and they are just a couple of people living on a Native American reservation trying to live their fucking lives and just trying to make sure that some fucking psychopath doesn't murder their child. Yeah,
Right.
it's just really fair. It's a really fair fighting field.
Right.
I feel
it's really
like.
fair.
Yeah.
In April of 2022, Ezra gets arrested again for second-degree assault for throwing a chair at a 26-year-old woman. There's a video of the incident afterwards with the police. Ezra says a couple things on video that can be heard. One of them is, "I film myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art." Ezra also says, "I claim my 9th Amendment rights to not be unlawfully persecuted for a crime of no designation." And the other thing they say is, "Hey, you just touched my penis. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man."
Okay, I'm sorry. Transgender and non-binary are two different fucking things unless I'm smoking crack.
Correct.
What the fuck are they talking about?
Yes, you're totally right. But they claim in this video that they are both, because it's possible to be both. They are not always together. If you're transgender, you are not always non-binary, but you can be both.
Okay, but this is just coming out of left field. Like they've been
Right.
saying I'm non-binary for years.
Correct.
This just feels like I'm just throwing something out so I can claim it's you hating me.
Correct.
It sounds like they've really fucking lost it, though. It sounds like there's something. Obviously, this person is a dangerous human being who's absolutely running a cult and is having their power go unchecked because they're still starring in like the biggest fucking movie.
Right. And so this is the stuff where people online start to question, like, why is this, hey, Warner Brothers or whatever, why is this person still going to star in a big movie? You have time to change actors.
There's like a lot of actors out there. I'm not sure if they know, but there's like a ton.
Right. The last thing that happens around this time is the police get an anonymous call, mention that there's a cult and there's a person leading the cult impregnating people, stating that Ezra is running a cult out of a home in Hawaii. I don't know if that was ever substantiated. It was just an anonymous tip. There are a few things that people probably
So we don't know if Ezra was impregnating people.
Everyone was kind of like, wow, this kind of came out of left field, but they had disorderly conduct charges as early as 2011 while filming Perks of Being a Wallflower. They were pulled over for having a broken taillight, and they were found to have 20 grams of marijuana.
Okay, listen, I'm sure I've had broken taillights and 20 grams of marijuana. So what else do we got?
Right. But as they're being pulled over, they start smoking a cigarette that I guess it was also had marijuana in it. You're pretty ballsy.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
Right. That's why. Part of it.
So basically their fucking ego has been off the fucking charts for over a decade.
Right. In January of 2022, Ezra posted an Instagram video directed to Ku Klux Klan members of North Carolina saying, look, if you all want to die, I suggest you kill yourself with your own guns. And if not, we will do it for you. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye. And
listen, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that.
In this video, referred to themselves as the Bengal Ghouls and the Mad Wizard.
Wait, hold on. Ezra referred to themselves as a mad wizard?
Yes.
Bro, did you know the wizard is like crazy racist coded?
Is it?
Wizards are not just about magic. It's about fucking neo-Nazis too.
Oh,
because did you know neo-Nazis, they call them, the KKK. The main dude of the chapter or whatever is called the Grand Wizard.
Oh.
Yeah. You wouldn't think wizards and Nazis together, but because I think it's really fucking hilarious to be like, oh, we're the KKK and I'm the Grand Wizard. Like, are you going to do some magic for us? Or just be an insane racist? Because I feel like it's just going to be the second one.
So some other problematic relationships. In April of 2022, somebody named Mio Solange, also goes by they, them pronouns, posted a TikTok and said that they had a romantic relationship with Miller, said in the TikTok video, this motherfucker's off his rocker. Ezra wanted them to have their babies. There's a series of photos of them saying that Ezra is not a good person, and I can finally say so without being terrified, #abuser. The video climbed to over 3 million views, and then Mia deleted it. I don't know why.
I feel like there's like a pattern too of people making allegations or whatever, and then that just like falling off the radar, which is a super unusual pattern in cases where people have a ton of money and power, and there's movie studios or music studios trying to protect them being terrible people so they can make money, Puff Daddy.
In June of 2022, a lot of abuse in 2022. How do they find the time? There were additional protection orders filed against Ezra. There was a second order filed from a mother in Massachusetts who accused Ezra that their interest in her non-binary 11-year-old made them uncomfortable.
Hold on, this is when?
In 2022, June.
So this motherfucker goes
after an 11-year-old.
29.
Uh-huh.
After an 11-year-old.
After an 11-year-old. Apparently, Ezra told the child that they would be lucky if Ezra was the one to mentor them. And Ezra also told the child that they were an elevated being.
No. Oh my God.
Ezra offered to fund a clothing line and buy several horses for this 11-year-old.
That is like grooming 101, grooming 102,
well,
and 103.
The child was super uncomfortable. This 11-year-old was super uncomfortable, and mom was standing up for them. And the mother claims that Ezra waved a gun at her and menaced the family and said, "Do you want to drink my blood? Do you?"
This person needs to be locked the fuck up. This is insane.
Right.
Like, what the what?
And then there were 2 other cases with different individuals in 2022 in June and August. They went to somebody's apartment in Berlin in February of 2022. And this girl told Ezra, "You can't smoke inside the apartment." And then Ezra flipped out, called this girl, her name's Nadia, transphobic and a Nazi. Ezra refused to leave the apartment, spread out their tobacco leaves everywhere. Nadia filed a criminal complaint, but then later had to drop it because Ezra was no longer in the country. And then in August of 2022, Ezra was accused of burglary of their neighbor's home, stealing several bottles of alcohol. Allegedly, they caught this on camera. Ezra pleaded not guilty at first and eventually pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge. The result was a 1-year probation and that they must continue mental health treatment and random alcohol screenings and have no contact with the victims of the burglary.
So they're doing just fine, essentially.
Right. I just see somebody that due to some factor, and I'm not saying this excuses the behavior, but I just from the beginning am seeing someone just absolutely like splinter apart as a human mentally.
Yeah, there's like, what is happening up there? It's really wild.
And people are like, okay, so how is Warner Brothers still putting them in this movie. In 2019, Ezra was supposed to star in the movie The Flash, which was given a new release date, which was pandemic related at this point because Ezra's real crazy behavior didn't start until the following year. So the film was pushed to 2022, which also we know didn't happen. But then when all of this stuff started to go down and get serious in 2022, Warner Brothers allegedly had an emergency meeting to discuss Ezra and the future of The Flash. The decision at the time was to halt all future projects with them because it was being said that they were having frequent meltdowns. But then later they said, no, this meeting never happened. So in August of 2022, the Warner Brothers CEO basically stated the movie would be moving forward, that Ezra was completely committed to their own recovery. Ezra came forward with a statement at that time addressing complex health issues. And according to their PR rep, this was a wake-up call to Ezra's renewed commitment to the movie. They apologized for their behavior in person. The movie, of course, was released with Ezra in the title role in 2023 to pretty abysmal numbers. It is considered to be one of their biggest bombs in the DC universe of movies. They lost over $200 million on it. It only debuted at $271 million.
Oh, Warner Brothers lost all that money on it?
Yeah.
Good. That's what they fucking get for saying, no, we're just going to keep putting this problematic person in our lead role.
And of course, people are saying, well, it's not just because, we put this super problematic person in this lead role. It's also because, the DC universe wasn't that good and they didn't do good on the movies. And hey, many would agree they weren't the best movies. But even so, please stop trying to shift obvious blame away from the fact that you put a abusive cult leader, sexual assaulter, groomer in a title role, despite knowing all of these things.
Despite years and years and years and literally several people coming forward in instances that are the same, and it's just like, no, but like really though, who could play the Flash better than Ezra? Probably a lot of fucking people, you idiots.
Clearly the person is mentally ill with a very obvious power trip thing going on. They seem to have stayed a little bit out of the spotlight at the end of 2023 and early into this year. At some points after being awarded the role of the Flash, they were using that as part of their weird cult leadership. Jesus is the Flash. I'm here to bring all the universes together. So apparently even the Flash got brought into the cult psyche thing.
Well, he did ask for Flash figurines too as offerings, right?
I mean,
it's like, listen, I either want some weed or a little plastic mini of myself. That's what I want.
So I can melt it down and smoke out of it. January 2024. Where are we now? Here's the last thing we got. January 2024, the last harassment order against Ezra Miller expired. The original order was placed by Shannon Gwynn, who had claimed that Ezra had inappropriate conversations with her child. Ezra's lawyer stated that the allegations were untrue, that they were never alone with the child, and there were never inappropriate conversations with the child. To date, Ezra has never faced criminal charges for behavior related to Gibson or their given name, Dakota Iron Eyes.
Or any of the other grooming?
Nope.
Cool.
Ezra continues to say that they are in a healthier place and that they would like to continue playing the Flash if another movie is to go forward. I'm sure there's a million other things about what they've done, what bar they were at that night, what exact day. We have some good resources in the show notes. Crazy.
Well, I do think that something I really liked about this episode is I think that it also touched on a lot of other bigger problems in society and the entertainment industry and stuff, and just...
There's different standards. In no other world could somebody or should somebody go out and attempt to have any kind of friendship or relationship with a very young child as an adult. They did this publicly, and a lot of people were just kind of fine with it.
When Ezra was 17, they were openly dating a 22-year-old woman, and everybody was just like, rah, 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 yay, that's cool.
Right.
And that doesn't excuse it whatsoever. I just think it shows that in the entertainment industry, people can do things super openly and it praised, where if Bob, who works at Kmart, tried to pull the same shit, he'd be in jail today.
Right. It just speaks of a person spiraling really out of control from a very young age, getting away with certain behavior for such a long time, and obviously surrounding themselves with people that they know feel like they need Ezra more than Ezra needs them. Like friends that go to this movie star's house and get rewarded with weed or drinks or plane tickets. But the small price to pay is that you have to listen to them talk about how they're the Messiah and leave trinkets on an altar for them and watch them abuse women, right? So it sort of just like builds, and nobody was ready to step in at any point and be like, hey, friend, you are losing it.
Yeah. And I think that's just how it goes in those situations where people surround themselves with less power than them. They can just kind of like do whatever. It's a great example of a story that really touches on what a big problem this is, because unfortunately, we do all co-sign all of this. I listen to fucking music. I watch movies. I watch TV. I watch reality TV. I admitted it. I watch some TLC. I'm part of the problem, dog. Like I get it, you know? And that's why I think we all need to take a little bit of responsibility of being aware of like what we're consuming and if we feel okay about doing so. It's up to everybody on an individual level what creators or artists you want to support or not. And there's a lot of fuckery going on in all of that. So I think it's just good to, maybe it won't affect change, but it's good to point this shit out.
But also like kudos to the parents of all of these children involved for really trying to go to bat against what probably feels like this unstoppable force for their children, going up against a Hollywood star who seems to get away with everything and really fighting for their kids, even when their kids are like, don't fight for me, I'm fine. Good for them. It's got to be so hard as these children's parents.
Yeah. Like, did they murder anybody? No, but they seem like they're causing a lot of damage everywhere they go.
Right.
And it's important to fucking call that out when people are doing that and then just living the fucking high life continuously every day, everywhere. So yeah, I hope you guys, got some weird thoughts in your head from this, because I do. Weird thoughts in just a like, what the fuck is going on type of way,
Right.
Question it all. Don't trust anyone. Don't go to anybody's house ever. Don't make a friend. Don't get into a relationship. Don't go to a bar. Don't go to Iceland. You guys, it's dangerous. Ezra Miller's everywhere. It's fucked.
I love how you're like, don't go to anyone's house. And I'm literally probably going to come to your house in like a month on the dot. If I get there and there's an altar and you're like, I need a tiny blue-haired Ashley figurine on there, I'm going to leave. It's out for me. Bye.
Well, now I know what to do if I'm sick of house guests. Y'all just wake up and I'm like, good morning. It's prayer time. Everybody get up my feet.
That's going to be a no.
Hold on. You're saying that like we record in a way that people or even we understand in like a time, space continuum. And Fallon is saying, I'm going to be at your house in a month because we're in the future right now. But I'm telling you guys that when this episode has come out, Fallon will have just been at my house because we will have just done a convention. And I'm going to go ahead and say right now that it went great.
I'm manifesting this.
I'm going to manifest it. You guys, it went fucking dope. Any of you who we met there who are listening now, hello, right? You like that? You like that?
Yeah,
I'm putting it out there. We're going to meet new listeners. So I don't know, you guys. Space, time, Earth, entertainment, Ezra Miller. What is it? I don't know.
I was going to say, but we do know that it was real as fuck.
It was real as fuck. And it was real fucked up.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next week to talk about Christian missionaries who are on a mission to bum everybody out. All right, later.
Bum 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 bum. That's fucked up. I'm so fucked up. Can't you see? It's just really fucked. That's fucked up.